One, I think the media has sustained the coverage, and the media can sustain the coverage for as long as, you know, it's an important story. I think the question that we should be asking ourselves is, you know, what have the other institutions done in terms of sustaining the conversation around terrorism? And for me, I think my concern, you know, just speaking from Gadara, is the narratives that are coming out of this. You know, I cringe every time I hear that, you know, we were able to rescue this number of people, or this was the target, but they only were able to just kill a few people. And for me, that's a cold comfort approach, you know, because every life lost is an important life. And the question is, for the families that have lost loved ones, when they hear that kind of narrative, you know, what does that do for them? Does it mean that the numbers are so insignificant and that we only pay attention when the numbers are huge? And so it just points to, you know, I think very bad, you know, PR on the part of security agencies to try and project it, you know, in that way. Yeah. Now, questions about, you know, the lack of intelligence, you know, regarding the Mandera, you know, the very recent Mandera attack, then raises questions. And I think for us then as media is raising some of those questions that seem to be coming out of the narratives that are coming out from government. But whether the conversation has been sustained, in my view, I think it has, you know, by media across. Yeah. So the other thing that I think for me was yesterday when the story broke out, you know, when we woke up to that news in the morning, was the fact that I think the bulk of the very elaborate coverage was done by BBC. You know, I think that was the first very extensive coverage before, you know, the local media houses picked up that conversation, and that for me is a worry. You know, that must we rely on, you know, some of those agencies to be the first ones to give us a detailed report, and where was local media in terms of giving us that? The story broke out, all right, but we didn't have a very detailed coverage until much later in the day that you were able to see that, you know, that. It's
interesting you say that, because it was also some of the criticism that the media received after or during Westgate, that at the time there were those who claimed that they felt they were getting more substance from international media as the siege was unfolding. But Claire, let's come to you and perhaps your thoughts on the communication has been highlighted from the security agencies, and whether the media should highlight that a little bit more, because it is important what is said then after this kind of attacks. Crisis communication, in essence, doesn't it play a role?